How's it going?
Going
He
all
likes
right.
beer. We like beer. By the way, everyone watching, get naked. Um,
Is that a sponsor?
I have no naked 100. I don't actually know what this is. Oh, you know what? I'll Google it. Naked 100. What is naked
Yeah,
100?
you got a good idea what's going to come up if you Google naked, right?
I know, right?
Yeah, and here we go. It is
Uh-oh.
naked 100 is an e-liquid. What is an e-liquid?
I think I know.
This product contains nicotine. Oh my God! Really? I'm out. That's not gonna happen on this show. I'm sorry, naked whatever you are. You can bite my
that's
ass.
the whole vaping thing.
It is totally a vaping thing, I guess. That's what I was. So not on this show. That I'm gonna have to unstitch all of that. That's just. Oh, I'm so sad. I love this too. I never understood what it was, and now that I've actually looked it up, I denounce it entirely. So, how's it going with you guys?
Good.
Well, yeah, I haven't had that problem, so.
All right. Cheers to Julian.
Yeah. Sorry.
Cheers to Julian.
Oh, Julian.
Cheers. Is he already in the chat?
Hey,
cheers from the
Nelson
audience.
Island.
He's
Yeah,
on the
Julian.
ball today.
Nice.
Julian was here, and he last week for the Thanksgiving adventuring, and now he has gone back to freeze his butt off in a small cabin where. Wait a minute, how good is he at math? You don't have like any inclination to build letter bombs, do you? Wait a minute. Wait, he used to work at the post office. Oh my God! We found the Canadian Unabomber. La, la. Okay.
All right.
What a weird opening to the show, but that's okay. Boys, let's start over there with Locke. Locke, what are you drinking this evening?
All right. So what I am drinking this evening is Junction Craft Pilsner. Junction Craft Breweries is in Toronto, Ontario. And they describe this as a traditional German-style Pilsner with noble hop aroma and flavor. German-style Pilsner. Pilsner as a style comes from Pilsen, which is in Bohemia, which is sometimes described as part of Germany, except for those times when it's part of the Czech Republic. So... I don't know, let's see how this goes.
Looks like a Pilsner.
Tastes like a Pilsner.
That's probably a good
Smells like a
sign.
Pilsner.
Actually, this is a fairly delicious beer. Pilsner was known for importing a German style of beer called lager. And what makes it Pilsner, I think it had something to do with the nature of in Pilsen, the way they would prepare this beverage. It was household by household, and they would all sort of dig these sort of very substantial basements. And eventually, they became so substantial that they linked them all up. And so there's this massive maze of tunnels under Pilsen where this ferments.
Wow. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That's more than interesting. That's kind of awesome. Why do I not have a series of secret tunnels underneath my brewery?
The Crafty Boys, we're more than just talking about beer. We talk about beer history and geography and things that happen actually like in Pilsen.
Indeed.
That's right, because we are so incredibly well educated and knowledgeable about the subject. I certainly hope you will follow along on our Twitter account, where we post every minute a new fact about beer, even if we have to make them up.
Wow. So
Dave!
tell us more. Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry. No, go ahead. Keep going, Locke. If you have more to say.
What I was going to say is, as compared with some of the flavorless booze water that gets marketed as Pilsner. This has plenty of flavor. It's got that sort of slightly skunky Czech sort of back end.
I love Czech back end.
Yes, indeed. And that is mostly what I wanted to say about this beer.
All right.
Okay, Dave,
I got
know that
intro music for you.
You took one for the team last week, but now you're back to your regularly scheduled program.
I am.
So here's Dave's corner.
Love it.
Keep going, Dave.
I don't know. Somehow that's kind of appropriate because I found this stuff.
Brownie.
Yeah.
What is this?
Brownie caramel cream root beer.
Oh, okay. I've seen that on the shelves actually.
So whatever. I kind of keep my eyes open for, stuff I haven't tried ever or just looks kind of weird. And I thought, hey, why not? It's worth giving a shot to anyways.
Okay. I'm very curious.
Oh, interesting.
So what is it exactly? Is it a cola or what?
It's a root beer.
Or
It's
a root beer.
Yeah. I guess it's a little hard to read there, but yeah, it's a root beer. Caramel cream root beer. This is like now prefacing here, I'm not this huge Harry Potter fan, but this is what I kind of imagine the butter beer would taste like.
Harry Potter.
Yeah, I can't remember what they called it, but
they
I know
did
you
call
guys
it
know
butter
what
beer.
I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But it was like name butter beer, anyways.
Oh.
It was what the kids were all drinking, but this actually has like it's probably supposed to be the caramel, but it tastes a little bit like butter. Not like disgusting greasy, but it just has it's a really subtle kind of creamy. It's more mouthfeel thing, I guess, than the flavor,
like texture or something.
Yeah. This is great. I would totally. If you're looking for some sugar water, you could do worse.
All right.
It also kind of reminds me a little bit of the old A&W back from when we were kids.
Oh, okay.
Because I used to think it was pretty good stuff when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if they changed it more recently, if the formula's changed over the years, but whatever.
I haven't had it in so long. Couldn't tell.
Yeah, I think same. No, I have, because I've gone to A&W a few times. But this, I don't know what it is, but it kind of reminds me of the A&W we had when we were kids.
Huh.
Yeah, it's nice. It's good stuff.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I am just finding a link here for this thing, but essentially it sounds like history-wise, the Orca Beverage Company purchased this particular brand. It looks like a while ago. There's not a whole lot of information, but essentially, Brownie root beer was produced by the Atlas Beverage Company starting around 1929 in Detroit, Michigan. They bottled a variety of sodas, including this particular one that you're having tonight. And they basically ran out of business until sounds like they ran the business till the founders retired, and they closed their final production line in 1996. So all of the information or the recipes that were sold to the Orca Beverage Company.
Huh.
So yes, it is indeed pop because Dave's he's a lightweight. I gotta say, is it craft pop? I guess, but I don't know.
I don't know
to be
about
craft pop.
I don't
now?
know.
I don't know. I'm kind of torn on that.
It's unusual.
But tonight, It is. Yes, I would agree with that. I would agree with that a lot. So tonight, Alan and I are going to be enjoying the Eclipse barrel-aged Imperial Porter from Central City.
Oh boy!
And let me get the glasses here. And here's what's on the bottle.
You read. I'm gonna pour.
Eclipse, a beer so dark it blocks out. Oh wait, I gotta get more dramatic here. Eclipse, a beer so dark it blocks out the sun. This rich bourbon barrel aged small batch porter exudes deep aromas of roasted malts and baker's chocolate combined with a silky full body. It will keep you warm during the darkest of days. Contains barley and wheat. It comes in at a strong, extra strong beer at 9% alcohol by volume. Best served between 12 to 14 degrees Celsius. Brewed in Surrey, independent craft brewery, blah, blah, blah. Alan's already drinking it, and I have yet to open mine, so...
It smells amazing.
Okay, I'm just...
oh my god!
Cutting the wax off, because this is the tops are waxed.
So I thought ahead. I actually cut my wax off. Sounds really bad.
Wax on, wax off.
I took it off. I took it off.
Alan's son.
About half hour ago. So
jeez.
Yeah, it's a real. It's not like wax. It's like plasticky kind of wax, and it's. Keep calling. Well, somebody's going to actually cut their arm off doing that. Yes, indeed, Julian. Yes, indeed. So this is it here. An amazing head. Smells really sweet. Smells almost like black licorice, actually.
Oh wow.
Huh.
And then the taste.
Son of a...
Oh, so much body here.
Would you like me to fly out there and help you?
By the time I get this bottle open, your flight will be landing.
It's shade proof.
Oh my lord!
Shane should have thought ahead.
I should have. I didn't think this would be as difficult as it's proving to be.
I don't want to say too much about the beer because Shane has to give his input. But he's got to get the wax off. Then he's got to actually take the
I'll
cap
be right
off.
back. Hold on.
Oh,
This is dumb.
Okay.
getting his,
So I
getting
tell you
his
what.
anti-wax tool.
Tell you what we're gonna do is we'll just kind of like hold off on the beer for a second. We're gonna talk about something. So Vancouver Island Brewing makes an annual beer called their Nanaimo Bar Porter.
Mm-hmm.
And now one of the part owners of Vancouver Island Brewing is also part owner of Muskoka Brewing, which is in Locke's neck of the woods.
Mm-hmm.
And I've posited for a while now that they would do some sort of a collaboration. Well, it looks like they're actually doing that now. So Muskoka Brewing is releasing the Vancouver Island Brewing's Nanaimo Bar Porter in their own bottles. So it is quite possible that we could get the Vancouver Island Brewing Nanaimo Bar Porter here. And Locke, you could get Muskokas, and we'd be drinking pretty much the same beer.
Yeah, this is an interesting plan. So I'm going to see if I can get a hold of this fine product.
Peanut gallery.
And we will move forward on that basis.
All right. So we've discussed that, and now Shane has his beer open, I hope.
I have my beer open. Here we go.
Wonderful
That
aroma.
is a barrel-aged beauty.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Mhm. Wow, that's like not having beer in your mouth ever.
Yeah.
Like you can't tell. Your brain is like, I don't care. This could be water. Let's just consume it.
Now, I want to know, Is this cellarable, do you think?
It's possible. It has been cellared sort of already during its
Yeah,
process.
kind of.
But I would think that, I mean, here's the thing. That is so smooth. Like the alcohol is present, but it's not like at the top. It's very subtle. This is what I mean. That first swig, I couldn't tell I had anything in my mouth.
Oh wow, it's like ghost beer.
Yeah.
And the flavor is on the back end. Like you can it has a little bit of flavor, and then when you're swallowing it, that's where it explodes into your mouth.
The head is nice, a lot of lacing.
So hey
really
Dave, I'm gonna put the glass up to the screen here, Dave. Here, Dave, have a little bit.
Oh, sweet.
Get your lips up there, man. All right, there we go.
Yeah, when I saw you guys were looking at that one, I'm like, oh, really?
Here's the thing.
It's like $11 or $12 a bottle, so it's not cheap.
It's not a cheap beer, but here's the thing. This particular we've talked about bourbon aged, barrel aged stuff before. I mean, it's a very much a Christmas thing, especially at the during the holidays at the end of the year. But a lot of those are very tart. They hit you really hard with that sort of, when it should have been cellared. Maybe I should have not opened this now. I should have left it 6 months and then it would temper out. Where this one, right out of the gate, you don't. Like, you put it in your mouth, and the carbonation is really, really low.
Yeah.
It's just, it coats your your mouth right away, and then your brain, and then and then the flavor pops for that. I gotta say, wow,
that's what Central City does. Like with their Thor's Hammer. Barley wine, they do the same thing, right? I mean, like I bought a Thor's Hammer last year. It was a 2015 vintage. They just released it last year.
Wow.
Yeah. So Central City is known for doing that kind of thing.
Wow.
That is, I'm enjoying
the
this
fact
beer.
that it's so smooth.
There is nothing that I can say that's bad about this beer. Nothing. Not a single thing. On a scale of 1 to 10, I give it an 11.5.
Huh. Wow, I'm feeling a little bit jealous, actually.
The only thing that's kind of destroying my experience here is the fruit flies that it's attracting. God.
I think it's a sweet beer, then, is it?
Yes. Yes.
Just
definitely.
a little, a tad, not a lot. I haven't seen any fruit flies yet, but I'm ready for them. I don't know where that came from. I want to buy more of these bottles just because we can.
I want to go buy another 2, I think.
I could see leaving one and cellaring it for a little while, and just to see if it makes a difference. Although I doubt it will, but I guess I'll have to.
I don't know that it would, but I mean, why not save some of it? I mean, to have at a later date.
That too.
Yeah.
That is true. So I have to say, I highly.
If you get a chance to get this beer, go out and get it. It's out right now. I don't know for how long.
Well, they do say that it is a very
limited.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those giant Sea City barley wines, yes.
Wow, that is.
I don't understand what he's asking here. Can you show Julian's comment? I don't really understand.
I think he means
the giant city, those giant Central City barley wines. Yes, Alan, you love them, but would you drink another right away, or is it a one-hit wonder?
Oh, I would not drink another one right away. Like it's one and done. But I would have them again, like say, in a couple weeks or something like that. Now, say a Herminator, that's a little bit different. Herminator is kind of like a similar kind of thing, although it's not. It's a completely different style of beer, but the experience is the same. And I would hit that again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would. Probably.
What was the percentage on the Eclipse, guys?
9.
9. And isn't Herminator the same or even a bit more?
Herminator can be a little bit more. I think it runs about 11.
Okay.
I think it's stated 9, 8 or 9 on the can, but in actuality, it's from what I hear, it's actually more than that.
I am a happy boy.
Mm-hmm. So what's going on?
I'm very pleased.
Well, it's a good question. I really have no idea.
Yeah, I agree with Julian. One is enough of the barley wines, but Pilsner, yeah, that's a sessionable kind of thing, right? I mean, you want to have multiples of those.
I agree.
The barley wine, that's why it comes in such a big bottle. You have it over an evening, right?
Yeah.
Most definitely. I mean, I am very pleased with the result of the beer that we have found, and I wish I could taste Locke's beer, but I can't. So therefore, I assume it's equally as amazing. So as for what's happening this week, this week's has been fairly quiet, aside from the last week, the Canadian government and the United States government have decided that, hey, let's open the border on the 8th of November, I think, which is neither here nor there to most of us, but I'm just saying that stuff's moving forward. And then yesterday or the day before, the United States, it was announced that, of course, Canada, or BC specifically, can now have full capacity as of something. And but here's the connection I wanted to point out and ask your guys' opinion. All of the COVID support things end on the 27th of October. They're all done. No more money. Go back to work. That kind of thing.
Oh,
So isn't it interesting that three things are happening? That the support funding is going away. Suddenly this week we have you can have up to 100 people in a theater rather than, I think right now it's 50 is a maximum. And the border's opening not long after that. So I'm getting the sense that the people and governments now are at that stage of, we've hit as high as we're going to get for vaccination rates. Let's return as, slowly, but let's get closer to returning to pre-COVID activities, and to hell with people who haven't been vaccinated, I think. That's my assumption. That's my read on it. Prove me wrong.
We've done all that we can do. That's it. Done.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is that BC apparently is almost at 90% of COVID. I mean, it's like 86 something or something like that. But Alan, you know more.
It's time to start learning how to live with it.
Mm.
It's here. It's not going away. It's going to be like the common cold and the flu. It's going to be around all the time from now on. That's all there is to it.
I can see that.
So learn to live with it.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of what I think because travelers, all the restrictions for traveling are being reduced, and they're still confusing. One of the major I guess he's an anti-vaxxer, but he's been in the BC news quite a bit for being an anti, freedom, we have to have freedom. anti-restriction guy who now supposedly, although they haven't said so, but he got sick and now he's really, really ill, and stated on Twitter that he felt the worst he's ever felt. So people, of course, are assuming that it's COVID. And up on the island, from the island, Julian Price, please give us your opinion on anti-vaxxers. But basically, yeah, I mean, so people that are very vocal about not having restrictions or protecting ourselves are getting
Whatever.
really sick. So
They'll either get sick or they won't. That's all there is to it. But a little bit of news that I completely missed out on. I think this was like announced in July or something like that. And I completely missed the boat on it.
Free penile implants for all men in Canada.
No, that came out in August.
Okay.
No, but this one here was the Victoria Beer Society was announcing that in 2022, all their events are going to be back on. So that includes the Great Canadian Beer Festival is going to be back on in, next September. And Victoria Beer Week, which I believe happens in March, will be back on.
There's something to celebrate.
Yes, absolutely.
I am very pleased with this news because I was not too long ago that there is, in my mind, there's this concern that because of so much time having gone by, we've already seen tons and tons of organizations fail and go out of business and whatnot. Actually, I was talking to somebody just today, a gentleman who who owned 6 restaurants in Vancouver, retired in 1919. In 2019, in like the end of the year, and sold his stuff to his 6 restaurants to new people, and living up life on whatever retirement plan he's got. And all 6 of the restaurants have all closed and gone out of business since that time. So that really is. I mean, that kind of points out a lot of the.
It does suck.
Stuff that,
Yeah.
So yeah.
Didn't restaurants like fail and close all the time before all this?
Yes, it's a very high turnover for a variety of reasons. I mean, it's a hard business, right? So
It is.
especially with right now. I mean, we're seeing inflation in our country is 4.4%, which is the highest it's been since 93 or 83, something like that. And food costs going up everywhere, especially for commercial stuff, for running restaurants. So I think it's the end times, boys. I think that really we should just start drinking and mainlining beer because, the next thing this week, actually, 3 very large asteroids are passing very close to us. So, just saying, we only
You have to be careful when you read those articles. A lot of times, like I see those articles, and they write them with sensationalistic headlines to make you go, "Oh my God, it's the end of the world!"
But you're forgetting where I get my information from. Carl Sagan came out of his grave, pulled his zombie self out, told me to my face, and then went back underground.
A lot of them say that the asteroids are coming in close contact with Earth's orbit, meaning we could be on the other side of the sun, and it's going to cross through our orbit on the other side of the sun.
A bust-sized asteroid. Wow, what's in this beer? A bus-sized asteroid made a harmless close pass by our planet on Sunday, so 3 days ago. It passed within 155,000 miles or 250,000 kilometers, so within the moon's orbit. So that's the one I was thinking of. So it did pass really close. In the grand scheme of the universe, it's not that close. In the grand scheme of living on the surface, not that close either. But I see Dave out there every night with his telescope, and you, Alan, you're looking at the sky, and I just see Dave every once in a while. He's got his eye down to the thing, and then he reaches up and he goes, and he's trying to pull the asteroid closer with the power of the Force. So I'm just saying that I can neither confirm nor deny, or whatever. I just
So are we saying that Dave is like a Star Trek villain?
yeah. Pretty much.
Star Wars villain. Get your movie straight, man.
Right.
Well, that sounds more like a Star Trek villain to me.
You're a wizard, Harry, said Gandalf. So what's in this beer?
Is anybody going to be going to see the new Dune?
The new Dune.
It comes out next. Well, no, it comes out on Friday.
I have no interest. None.
Zero?
Kind of don't know. I looked at the trailer and remembered thinking that if they were trying to convince me to go and see the movie, it might still be a good movie, but if they were trying to convince me to see it, that the trailer was not hitting the right buttons.
Okay. Fair enough.
I think that the reason that this film is of note ultimately is two things. It's the guy that directed the Blade Runner sequel, which apparently was quite good. He also directed Arrival, which was that Amy Adams and forgotten who the other actor was. Where basically an alien craft just comes down to Earth and just sort of sits there and like hovers, 100 feet in the air kind of thing. And the aliens are basically trying to tell us that we're fucked. But they do it in this weird time travel-y mental thing, which is hard to explain. You have to watch if you haven't seen it. But the big deal is the fact that it's also getting a TV show already. Called Dune the Sisterhood or Dune Sisterhood or something. I'm actually not sure what it's about.
Yeah,
put it there.
This goes.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
This goes to what I sort of objected to about the trailer for the upcoming Dune film. Is it looked like slightly Dune flavored Hunger Games.
So my question is this a remake or is it like a reboot or
It's just the same thing again. Same story.
Yeah, it's an attempt at doing some sort of justice or damage or something to Frank Herbert.
Right, well, exactly.
right?
Yeah, I mean,
I've never read Frank Herbert's novels, so I sort of don't know. But
I have to confess to you guys, I saw the original Dune years ago and I hated it. Like, it did not interest me.
What did Patrick Stewart do to you?
I don't know.
Or Sting?
Awful.
Or who else was in it?
I actually like
Kyle MacLachlan,
the director's sort of in quotes here cut. It's not really a cut. It's more like a not quite cut. But there is an unfinished David Lynch cut of Dune out there. They used to have it at
Pick a Flick.
No, Black Dog Video in Vancouver. But yeah, it's I think better than the commercial release. But you could, Alan, for some comfort here, you can note that Jodorowsky, who was the first guy attempting to make Dune before it went to David Lynch, is actually a David Lynch fan. But when he went to see the film, he was delighted because it was shit.
Now, having said that, I'm actually a fan of David Lynch's work, like some of it. Mulholland Drive. I enjoyed that. Wild at Heart. which had Nick Cage and Laura Dern in it. That was a great movie. I love that movie. Sort of like a modern take on Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Dune just didn't do anything for me at all. I was bored.
Wow.
It's like one of those things where you're like, oh God, why am I here watching this? Well, I honestly last night I had a very similar thought, not for very long, but I went and saw The Last Duel, which is
Yeah. How was that?
this. Now I went and saw it because I'm interested to see. I was interested to see what Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. This is their first thing they've written since
The math
Good Will
movie.
Hunting.
Yeah.
The math movie. Good Will Hunting. And partway into it, I did have that thought of like, what have I gotten myself into? Is this gonna be terrible? But that didn't last. That feeling didn't last very long. It was actually pretty solid. Like it was a decent film. It's basically a quick summary. In France, there was the last time the king, the monarch, ever said, "Yeah, totally, go kill each other," and in a duel, and then whoever wins will God is shined on, and you're forgiven or whatever. And this is like 1396, I think, 98, somewhere in there, 99, somewhere in the last part of the 1300s, and so the movie covers about 20, sort of 15-ish years, and you get told the story from three different perspectives. The first is from Matt Damon's character. The second is from oh my God, Adam Driver's character, and the third is from the character who becomes Matt Damon's character's wife, and that I enjoyed. That actually was, I think, what made that into a decent film, where instead of telling the story in a traditional sort of way from beginning to end, you actually see a bunch of stuff for the bulk of the story. For like the first 45 minutes, you see Matt Damon's character, and then for like half an hour, you see Driver's perspective of the same events, and then you see the female character's perspective, because she was not there was a lot of battle scenes where those two guys were fighting side by side at the beginning, so she wasn't present for those, but basically it was stuff of her at home, stuff of her interacting with other people that you saw already, and that's actually what I think really made the film solid. I think it treated the material relatively well. I mean, this is a long time ago, and the records for what was documented at the time are apparently quite good. Hence, why there's so much detail, supposedly. Haven't read them myself, but But it actually did encourage me to want to go. You know what? I would like to go and seek out the source material for this information. Like, I would like to find a history book and original stuff, and actually dig around, because I'd like to know more about what was the equivalent of a modern transcript in a courtroom. That kind of thing. But apparently there's some of that collected by the church, of course, at the time. So, it was very interesting. And I had a very similar reaction to 12 Years a Slave, where I saw the film and I thought, oh, this is sort of a book from back then. So I went and I read the book, and I found it quite good and informative and very interesting. So, yeah, it was a weird film for me to go and see, because I would normally just have kind of feel, sure, it's got those guys in it, but whatever, they're not in a Kevin Smith film, so why would I care? But you know what? It also showed kind of the maturity of not necessarily Matt Damon, because he's done a lot more film work than Affleck has done. Affleck's sort of become more of a director and stuff like that. So, it treated the material, I think, correctly. So take that for what it's worth. But I saw that as well. What Julian is saying. So, but but I think that the James Bond film was just fun. Yeah, and the title's wrong.
Shane,
Yes.
what beer did we have last week? It was more powerful than this one. It was like more potent. It had like a higher
Yeah, it was.
higher ABV than this one. But this one's like really kicking my ass right now.
Maybe that's what's going on with my brain right now. I wasn't it 11%?
Like I can't even think right now. Like,
oh god. Lock, take over.
I still have like a third of my bottle left.
I have half the bottle going still. Like
I feel very jealous. This beer is relatively low alcohol for something that I would drink. I'm drinking a 4.8% beer.
Oh wow!
Like I think I'm gonna have to put on a diaper at some.
What beer are you drinking? I don't know. Anyone else see the James Bond film?
No. I knew there was one. It's the
My God, man. This is the 25th film, and you haven't been jumping out of your shirts to go and see it? Shirts? Pants? Socks? Whatever.
I haven't been to the movie theater in years.
Yeah, no, I've been... I actually have some people in the building that like to go, and, you know, we wear masks and wash our hands, or what else can you do?
It's not a COVID thing. It's just, I never go to the movie theater anymore, unless it's like a movie I really want to see. So,
there you go, Alan. Spoken.
I don't think I think the last movie I went to go see actually was Ready Player One.
Oh god, what a disappointing film that was.
Actually, I really liked it.
I hated it.
Oh,
It was.
you're an idiot.
I hated it.
You know.
I hated it mainly because the book is way better.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
But not in that the book's better. No, it actually was better. But here's the thing. Part of the reason was that there was a lot of compromising going on to actually make that into a film. Because I mean, the licensing alone only really that film only got made because a bulk of the licensing they actually wanted was already owned by the company that made the film. So, you know, it's like, we got to have the DeLorean in it. Well, we own that, so sure, use the DeLorean, go right ahead. You know, there would be no difference. They'd make no more or less money if they, you know, fought with themselves. But yeah, it was a poor version of the book, and I do recommend the book, the first one. I'm not so hot on the second one, but I recommend it. Hey! Spoilers in the chat. Don't read the chat. Don't read it.
Julian,
but I do agree with this comment here about the James Bond film specifically. I don't want to spoil it, but
am I the only one who doesn't really get it? You know, what? James. Like, I mean, I get it, but I don't get why people love James Bond so much.
I mean, history. I mean,
okay.
It's been going on since forever.
Yes, but you've watched one James Bond film. You've watched them all.
That kind of true. Actually, true entirely. But except for one film that broke the mold. Actually, no, I'm kidding. None of them did. No. So, Locke, you look like you have something to say.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think you want to know why people like James Bond. There's multiple reasons, but I would suggest that there are some people who like Bond just because it's sort of a big name franchise that, you know, pumps out usually an action-packed 88 minutes with, you know, a revolving sort of door of alpha male sort of, awesome guy, whether we're talking Sean Connery or whether we're talking, Daniel Craig. But for me, my interest in James Bond is more about Ian Fleming. He was an honest to God, real intelligence worker. And there's always been this sort of implication that his novelizations actually have a lot more truth in them than you would expect for that genre of fiction.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, right? Is that the reason we go to the movies is we want some sort of fantastical thing, and I mean it's like musical theater in New York, and I suspect England in the West End, if that was a thing back in the early 30s and 40s, was all about spectacle. It basically went from, instead of going to see a play, you went and saw a play with a high diving board and a full pool. So you had this sort of fantastical stuff as much as they could do on stage. And in film, when James Bond came out, what was it, 62? 63? When did Dr. No come out? I gotta look that up. I don't actually know. 62. So it was just that ability for somebody to go and basically to watch Mind Candy with some sort of swashbuckling guy. It's just basically we've replaced the pirate adventures with the adventures of spies. So to a certain degree. But I don't know. To me, I treat them completely as like Mind Candy. And once in a while you get to see, stuff explode, and the character that I wish they had introduced in the Daniel Craig, the last 5 films or so, was Jaws. I want more Jaws. Why was Jaws not in these things? Even if it was a dude with I don't know, like a grill or something like that, because that was my favorite character of the entire Roger Moore era, was, this guy just showing up and smiling with these big metal teeth and, biting the odd guy to death. Because he had a very satisfying end to that character. You had this character, I think he was in like 3 movies. And he was in Moonraker, which I think was his last one.
Yes, that's right.
And he like gets married to this, I don't know, stereotype of a Swedish girl, with the pigtails and everything, and it was just ridiculous fun. Daniel Craig's version of Bond is more supposed to be grounded in some reality, where, yes, here we go. Q is now gay. Well, we knew that 2 films ago, so that's not a surprise. The new Bond movie is crap. Have another Alberta Springs.
Is Q still played by John Cleese?
No, he's played by a actor whose name escapes me. Hang on, I'll look it up because I can look it up because I'm a talk amongst yourselves.
Wasn't it John Cleese for a while?
Sorry, what was John Cleese for a while?
I thought he was Q for a while in like a couple of movies.
Oh yes, I think he was, wasn't he? That was during the what's his name? Remington Steele.
Yeah,
Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan. Yeah.
No, when Daniel Craig started all of that, everything was recast entirely, from James Bond through, because they also had some
so wasn't M and Q the same actors from like Sean Connery through Timothy Dalton?
Well,
I think it was.
Which one?
The M and Q, the original actors for them were the same actors throughout, from the Sean Connery era through to the end of the of
Yes.
the Timothy Dalton era. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
that is true. But they
They aged and died, and
well, yeah, most of them are dead. I mean, I think Q was actually in Casino Royale, but then it was replaced in the next film by the new Q. So mainly because he was like 99 years old when he filmed that.
Are you
few scenes that
serious?
They had in that one. Yeah.
wow.
Well, he was. He wasn't 99, but he was most likely. Actually, well, hey, we have the internet. I'll look it up.
He was a billion years old.
But yeah, I mean, so Desmond Llewellyn was the Q, and let me just double check that he was indeed. No, maybe not. Maybe no. I am incorrect. He did not appear in 2006. So no, who were the?
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought so.
Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I could be confusing it with definitely with GoldenEye, or maybe the one right after GoldenEye, which was thing. I mean, the problem with the
So that they're
James
all
Bond
the same.
films before Daniel Craig was they became so fantastical they were just parody at that point.
Yes.
You were like watching like the film Top Secret.
I'd rather watch Austin Powers, to be honest.
Yeah, well, it definitely. Yeah, actually, it's been a long time since I've seen that.
No, seriously, I would rather watch Austin Powers is a more entertaining film to me than any James Bond or event or you know what I'm talking
Movie?
about. That 60s spy show, British.
Spy show British. The Avengers?
Yes.
Use
I was going to say the Avengers. But I'm like,
Yeah.
no, that's Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, yeah, no, I loved that show. It was campy fun. I mean, here's the thing. I think that for me, I think that there's definitely an audience that goes to films for some sort of serious experience where they want to see the world reflected as it is in film. And that's not, I mean, in my opinion, that's not what movies are for. Movies are meant to be, poignant, and you can, think about something afterwards, just like any play or whatever. But those are particular genre of films. They try to be full dramas, and the realism sort of bounces up and down, but you eventually, hopefully, will see something that's truly real. James Bond is not that. James, there you go, Alan. Julian agrees.
Thank you, Julian. Thank you.
But there you go. So, but Julian's a very hard critic. So I would like to hear.
I wish I could
hear him
remember what
review
I'm
our
not
show.
far off the mark on. I can't remember what I said 30 seconds ago.
I don't remember either. Dave, now, what was the last movie you went and saw in a theater?
Geez.
Like, in this day and age, it's probably, I don't know, 18 months ago, but
Yeah. That's the thing. I don't even know if I can remember. Like, holy shit. Okay, I gotta think back so I can remember Alita, Battle Angel. That was animated.
that was good. I like that.
Yeah,
It was
that was not bad. That was not bad.
I actually watched it for the first time not too long ago.
Trying to remember if I've seen anything more than that. Like, I'm kind of like Alan. Like, there's really, what do I want to see in the theater these days? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I don't have folks in my building that enjoy going out, and so I head to the movies with them. So that's part of it, I'm sure. But really, I find over like the last I'm kind of pulling numbers out of the air here, but probably last decade, anyways. I'm finding television a lot more compelling than movies as storytelling vehicles.
Yeah. No, I understand. I understand what you're saying there. There's a strong pull in terms of certainly more adult content towards the format of a an 8 to 12 part serial. More opportunity for backstory but what I've noticed is the response seems to be, or at least one response which I like to that, is that I'm seeing a lot of stuff coming out which is sort of retro in its style. The last thing I saw in the movie theater wasn't that, it was Guns Akimbo, but right before it I saw Knives Out, which is super classic in its styling. Which
was a good movie though.
Yeah, excellent movie. Yeah, very, very good movie.
It was
entertaining, a genuine suspense as to the outcome. Like the comedic timing. Up until that movie, I wasn't really sure if Daniel Craig could act, but apparently he can.
Good to know. Yeah, I looked at that. Is that Guy Ritchie, by the way?
I don't know.
The Guns Akimbo?
No, sorry, Knives Out.
Knives Out. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Let me see. Chris.
This is the same fella that did Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
Oh, that probably not then. Let me just see.
I mean, not that it matters that much, but I like the look of what I was seeing in trailers and stuff, so I was interested in seeing it.
No. Knives Out is well worth watching, but
get into it.
Ryan Johnson was the director.
Right. Oh, okay, all right.
But then more recently than that, of some very retro styling, The Green Knight. Anybody seen that?
No,
I have not, but I've actually heard.
Like that is something that I can see wanting to see in a theater rather than like the same effect watching it at home. This sort of 1970s-y, maybe a little bit of a nod to Kubrick.
Right.
In terms of the some of the way the visuals are played, kind of theatrical in a sense. Not maybe as theatrical as Peter Greenway, but still theatrical, right?
So I want to address Julian's last comment about too much political correctness in movies nowadays. You know what I miss? And I would go see this if it came back out again. This would be the Spike and Mike's Sick and Twisted Festival of Animation.
Oh,
I miss that. I miss those days so badly.
Imagine somebody tried to remake Cannonball Run. just take a moment.
If it happened, it would be a disaster.
Like,
you know what though? It probably wouldn't take much.
How much of that movie could you leave in if you were making this?
They would completely revisualize.
How much would you be able to leave in?
Nothing.
Pretty much nothing.
So let's put this into context. I haven't seen the Cannonball Run in years. I hardly remember a bit of it, but I can tell you that they wouldn't be able to recreate any of it. But I miss the Sick and Twisted Festival of Animation that Spike and Mike put on every year. Even if I had to, if I had to pay $20 just to see No Neck Joe for an hour, I'd do it. I'd do it. Like without even a second, without even like second guessing it. Boom, $20 for No Neck Joe.
Julian is a
And
fan
people
of
who
hockey.
know what I'm talking about, look up No Neck Joe. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look up No Neck Joe.
I don't remember what No Neck Joe is like. Like, I remember No Neck Joe. I know the thing.
No Neck Joe.
I'm trying to remember
they
the
weren't
actual
very
sketches,
sick
though.
and twisted. They weren't very sick and twisted.
No, that's true. Like, I think it
Well,
was
some
like
of the stuff was.
No Neck Joe walks into like a tailor and he hands him a tie.
So they had that,
that kind of
Lenny
thing.
Bruce, thing about, masked man's a fag man kind of thing, and
Right.
Huh?
and Lloyd's Lunchbox. I remember that.
Yeah.
The Bullimiator. Can't forget the Bullimiator. Nana and Little Puss Puss.
And little puss puss, what good times they had.
What was that? Last Roll, I think it was called, where the guy is at like dinner. Is that like a dinner party with his this big massive dinner party, and he's trying to impress the chick, and he goes into the bathroom and he takes a dump, and there's no toilet paper left, and so there's a dog that's there, and he just uses the dog to wipe himself. Yeah.
It's a great visual because he's got the dog by the nose and the tail, and he's just like through his butt cheeks.
Hot sluts.
Wow.
Hot sluts.
Wow.
There we go.
Hot sluts? What?
Hot sluts.
Hot sluts.
Oh, Rick the Dick.
Oh, here we go. Julian
Lupo,
is a fan.
Lupo the Butcher.
Lupo the Butcher.
Puke.
Well, Dave, you know what the Bullimiator was about, right? It was. Do you remember that one?
I do not. I think I only went to the festival once.
Okay.
I wasn't
Well, the
living here at the
Bullimiator
time,
was
right?
There's the scene in the film The Terminator where Arnold Schwarzenegger walks into a gun store and he starts like Uzi 9mm, like all these kinds of things.
Phase
And then
plasma
eventually-
rifle in the 40-watt range.
40-watt range. And anyway, he ends up just like stealing shit and then kills the store guy. But the Bullimiator is a guy who looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger as a Terminator, going to the candy vendor of the movie theater. What was it? Hot dogs extra slide or whatever. I forgot exactly what it was, but yeah, it was amazing.
It was exactly like the scene of the.
You have to watch that scene from the movie and then watch the Bullimiator, and you'll.
Has anybody here watched any of the Rise of the Foot Soldier series?
No, I have not.
Okay. Rise of the Foot Soldier is interesting format-wise for this conversation because I think it's maybe a little bit more violent than I'm generally seeing, even in this day of violent television. And so it's a series, and it's all like 2-hour kind of feature film format. And there's like
which just had the release of Rise of the Foot Soldier Origins
yes,
this year.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So ongoing. And it's all based in sort of a true crime kind of a genre. They chose a bunch of murders which had happened, I think in the 90s, relating to gang violence in England. Foot soldier is a sort of a pun, incidentally. So the foot there is as in football hooligan. And yeah, it's interesting. Like there they've gone in entirely against the grain of what we were talking about earlier, which is this sort of political correct kind of thing. This is sort of more, well, you know, being as it's part of the sort of the true crime genre and that sort of like bleak sort of crime oriented sort of film noir. It's not quite film noir. It's more like icy blue, and there's that sort of very realistic, very very gritty side of British crime that you get in, you know, like sort of the English sort of film noir genre tends to be quite bleak. And so this is sort of, it's got a bit of that going on, combined with this sort of retro thing for sort of 80s and 90s rave music. So in one of them, I think this is maybe the third installment, they actually have Sean Ryder show up in a cameo role. Sean Ryder, former lead singer of the Happy Mondays, who, if anybody knows anything about the Manchester business, he was sort of a notable ringleader.
Well,
I take it nobody's seen it. So anyway, go check it out. Like it's if you're looking for something non-politically correct, that'll tick that box.
I think that's actually a great suggestion, because I'm looking at these reviews for those films you're talking about, and even though they're not reviewed well by critics, the audience scores are way up there.
Yep.
So yeah, they found their audience. On that note, boys and girls, we'll end this show for the evening because we've been going for a while. But I thank you all for watching, as always. And Alan, take us out.